So all things being equal, the 1982 Edmonton Oilers, who came off an upset to the Montreal Canadiens the year before, should have been in the Stanley Cup that year. They went to the Stanley Cup in '83, lost it, but then won 4 of their next 5, and also 1990, and really they were the team of the '80s. But the big problem was losing the Kings, and the big one was the miracle in Manchester. A little bit of background: the LA Kings were being dominated by Edmonton during the regular season, and a lot of people thought this was going to happen in the final. Now, this is a nickname given to a National Hockey League playoff game between the Kings and Oilers that took place in April 10th, '82 in the league's 65th season. Now, there's a Bob Cole announced version, and there's a local version where I think it's much better. The game, the third of best of 5 postseason series, was played at the Fabulous Forum, the Kings' home arena at the time, which is situated on Manchester Boulevard in the LA suburb of Inglewood. The Kings completed the largest comeback in NHL playoff history, going from being down 5-0, I'm looking at you, Gary Younger, to win the game in overtime 6-5. Combined with upset wins in games 1 and 5 in Edmonton, the Kings eliminated the heavily favored Oilers to reach the second round. Now, the contest was the third of 5-game first-round playoff series between the longtime rivals. Under the playoff structure that existed at the time, the top 4 teams from each division qualified for the postseason, with the first seed facing the fourth and second and third pairing off in the first round. In '82, Edmonton won the division with 111 points, 48 ahead of LA. Now, the Oilers were in their third season in the NHL, were dominant. Under leadership of GM Glenn Sader and coach, he finished first in the Campbell and second best in the league after the Islanders. Now, the Oilers, the only team in Smythe division to post a winning record, was the most potent offense in the NHL that year. They broke the Montreal Canadiens record by scoring 417 goals, 32 more than any other team in '82. The Oilers also had a capable defense for the time, allowing 295 goals, 26 fewer than the NHL average, but it was still almost 4 goals a game. Now you had Gretzky, Anderson, Messier, and Curry, Lowell, Coffey, and Folkland, and fewer and Moog. So you're thinking to yourself, the Kings got no chance. This was the Gretzky year. 212 points with 92 goals. He was the Sports Illustrated Athlete of the Year. These were all league records, outscoring his nearest rival for the scoring lead, the great Mike Bossy of the Islanders, by 65 points. Gretzky won the Hart as the MVP for the third consecutive season. Now, after a 99-point season in 1981, which was décevant, as we say, he suffered through the worst one-year declines in NHL history, plummeting down to 63 points in '82. The team's fall precipitated a coaching change as Don Perry replaced Parker McDonald in January '82. Of the 16 playoff qualifiers in the NHL, LA had the poorest record. The Kings' total of 314 goals was lower than a league average of 321, but he also allowed 369. So this is nearly 700 goals scored in Kings games, more than all but 2 teams in the NHL in '82. Now, led by Dionne, who had 117 points, was 8th in scoring, and the Triple Crown line was Dave Taylor, but the usual left winger was Charlie Sember, but he missed 30 games due to injury and had only 39 points in regular season play. Other offensive notables for the Kings included underrated forward Jimmy Fox and rookie forward Steve Bozek, who almost single-handedly bet Montreal in the '86 playoffs. He also had a young defenseman Larry Murphy. His usual presence in the LA lineup was first solidified by future superstars Bernie Nichols, Doug Smith, and their very underrated Daryl Evans. Now, games 1 and 2, the Oilers had a record of 31-5-4 in the regular season. Now, the Oilers led 4-1 in the opening contest. Due to undisciplined play from Edmonton, the Kings answered back with 4 consecutive goals, 3 of which came in the power play, and would never trail the rest of the game, en route to a 10-8 win. The 18 goals is still the NHL record for most goals scored in Stanley Cup playoff contests. Now, Gretzky scored overtime to win Game 2, but he barely squeaked by. Now, when the series shifted to the Forum, the Kings had a good record there, 19-5-6. Edmonton's season record was kind of a mediocre 17-12-11. Now, the Kings fans were extremely enthusiastic and started the contest, but as in Game 2, the Islanders strike first. The Kings had just finished killing off a penalty to Dave Taylor when Kings forward Dan Bonar jumped on a loose puck in the Oilers' zone and took a shot on goal. Fuhr made the save, and the Oilers counter-attack. A pass found Messi on the left wing with a big shot that went past Barry Lazard. Now, while the power play at the end of the first period, the Kings made another offensive rush at Fuhr, with Dionne taking a centering pass and sending a wrist shot toward the Oiler net. Fuhr did make the save, and the rebound went to Gretzky, Gretzky then proceeded to carry the puck into the Kings' end, skating down on the ice and alone on Jerry Korab and Evans. Gretzky faked to the outside, and he was able to get a sharp angle shot against Lazard on their short side for a short-handed goal. The Oilers up 2-0. Now, as the second period started, the Kings were still in the power play, but the Oilers were able to mount another rush. Now, Lee Fogelin skated on the wing and sent a seemingly harmless shot towards Lazard. The Kings goalie misplayed the sharp angle shot and it went by him on the short side. Now, they had 2 power play goals on this power play and had taken control of the game with a 3-0 lead. Later in the second, both teams were playing with 3-on-3 due to penalties. The Oilers defensive Risto Sittleton skated the puck through center ice into the Kings zone, and Sittleton had got a shot, and the goal light was turned on because he felt that the puck did go in. The play was stopped and the referees convened. It was determined that Sittleton's shot went through the net. There was evidence, and replays confirmed it. The Oilers had increased their lead to 4-0. Now, by the time the 5-0 lead was going, Glenn Anderson took a pass and right at King's net, saw Gretzky sneaking behind Lazard and King's defenseman Rick Chartraw at the left side of the goal crease. Anderson sent a hard pass that went through Chartraw's legs and onto the stick of Gretzky and deflected the puck in. Now, this is 5-0. Now, King's play-by-play announcer Bob Miller was quoted as saying, "I was so upset because I thought we do this every time, get everyone in LA excited about hockey, and the Kings didn't then go right in the dumpster." Kings owner Jerry Buss also left the game early and was greeted with jeers from the home crowd. The home crowd that quieted considerably at the game turned to a rout. So the Kings fans were really determined for a good result, but the third period, my God. Early in the third, with both teams at 4 skaters per side, the Kings gained possession of the puck in the neutral zone and tried attacking the Oiler net. The Kings had a 2-on-1 Dionne and Murphy, but Dionne's set-up pass was missed by Murphy and the puck went toward the right wing boards. Eventually, the puck went to Jay Wells. He skated in from the left point. Noticed Taylor was disrupting the sight line of Fuhrer and took a shot from 30 feet out that went through the legs of Taylor and into the right side of the net past Fuhrer to put the Kings on the board 5-1. Now, less than 3 minutes later, the Kings won another power play as the Oilers got another penalty. The Kings won the face-off and sent the puck back to Hardy, who threw a shot to the net from the left point. Fuhrer made the save, but a rebound went directly in front of the net toward Kevin Lowe, but Lowe couldn't stop it. And eventually, Doug Smith quickly stepped towards Lowe, reached between the defender's skates, took a shot that went directly under the crossbar and into the Oiler net. Fuhrer was very weak on these first 2 goals, by the way. The teams were again playing at 4 skaters per side when the Oilers went to gain possession of the puck behind their net. The attempted Oiler clearing pass, however, was intercepted on the right wing by Kings forward Dean Hopkins. Eventually, they got it towards the net and towards Charlie Simmer. Fuhrer's knockback allowed by Simmer's shot to slide to the goal line, and this goal brought the Kings to win 2 at 5-3. This was the goal that really got the crowd back in the game and made the Kings believe they could actually pull the game out. But here it becomes bizarre. Gary Unger would rarely take a penalty. He picked him up for veteran strength and positivity on the bench. And he fucked up. He had a chance to win a cup in '82 after toiling with the Blues for years as one of the best Western Conference players. This is what happened. Now, with only 5 minutes to play, veteran Oilers forward Gary Unger would have played the previous season with the Kings. Roddy stick blade up into the face of Dave Lewis behind the Kings net. Lewis' face was so cut, Unger was assessed an automatic 5-minute major penalty for high sticking, so the rest of the period were on the power play. Since Lewis was also penalized 2 minutes for roughing in the ensuing moments following the high stick, both teams would be 4 skaters per side for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes were up, the Kings would have the last 3 minutes for the man advantage, as the major Unger would be still running. Now, during the 4x4, Steve Bozak did it. He gained possession of the puck at the center ice and did a crisscross move that put the Oilers on a position for a split second, and Mark Hardy used a small window of time to cut and pass Gretzky, take a wrist shot back against the grade towards the right side of the net. Fuhrer, again surprising a quick shot, tried to slide to the left to keep the puck out, but was unsuccessful. The puck was in net. The Kings crowd went wild, and the Kings were now trailing 5-4. Now, soon after Hardy goal, the Kings' 3-minute power play began. There was an anxious moment for the Kings as Oiler forward Pat Hughes, the former Hab, gained a loose puck at the center ice and had a clean breakaway. Hughes skated alone at the King goal to Lazard and took a little shot, but Lazard, maybe the Quebec major gods protected him, was able to block it. There was a small rebound for Hughes, but by the time Hughes regained the puck, it was too close to Lassard and didn't have time to shoot. All the Hughes could do was knock the puck into Lassard's waiting glove, and Lassard covered the puck to stop play. Now, the Kings did have trouble setting up the puck in the Oilers' zone in the major power play, and game time was dwindling. When play was stopped at 1:37 left, Perry changed goalies for the Kings, bringing on Doug Keens to replace Lassard. Under the rules in effect at the time, the game was suspended for several minutes while Keens took a practice shots for his teammates, giving the power play unit time to rest. At the next whistle, with 1:14 remaining, Lassard returned in net without a warm-up. Finally, with a minute left to go, the Kings pulled Mario for an extra attacker to essentially give them a two-skater advantage over the Oilers. With 45 seconds to go, Dionne gained clear possession of the puck to the right of the Oiler net. Dionne stick handled for 20 to 25 seconds, looking for an open lane to pass or shoot. At last, Dionne sent the puck to Charlie and headed to the front of the net. Simmer sent Dionne a return pass, and Dionne took a quick wrist shot to net, but the shot was kicked aside by Fuhr. The rebound slid over to the right wing boards, where Gretzky choked when he tried to gain control of it. Jimmy Fox, of all people, quickly moved into harass Gretzky, frankly waving a stick along the ice to knock the puck away, and moved his body between Gretzky and the puck to again gain control. The last 10 seconds, Fox sent the puck back to Hardy, who was fired away from the net, but you couldn't see it because all the fans were standing up in the video, but was positioned to center of the Oilers' zone. Hardy took the pass and sent a low shot toward the net. Fuhr managed to make the save, but could not control the rebound. The puck scored out in front of the net. Now, eventually, the Oilers, because they were two men short, were not positioned to defend Steve Bozek, and watched as horror as the puck slid perfectly toward the Kings' rookie stick. Bozek immediately took a quick backhanded shot towards the net. Fuhr did not have enough time to react and adjust the position for Bozek's shot, and was helpless as the puck sailed between his pads and into the net. But only 5 seconds ago, they had tied it 5-5. Now, the Kings crowd was electrified, and so was the announcers at the scoring of the title game. The Kings were all tired by the static. However, the Oilers players on the ice, by contrast, were in disbelief and lying down on the ice. Gretzky had pretty well choked in the last 10 minutes, so did Unger. Goalie Fuhr had dropped to one knee and hung his head in disappointment. All that was left to regulation was a face-off at center ice. The last 5 seconds ticked off, and he went in overtime. Now, later in the overtime period, after an early Kings scoring chance, he got another one, as Doug Smith entered the Oilers' zone with an open lane on the right wing. He took a hard shot, but Fuhr was in perfect position to catch the puck with his glove. He caught and controlled the puck long enough for play to be stopped. The ensuing face-off restart play would take place in the Oilers' zone to Fuhr's left. Kings head coach Perry sent an all-rookie forward line for the face-off, with Bozek on left, Smith at center, and Daryl Evans on right wing. Smith won the face-off for Messier, gently drawing the puck back. As the puck slid back, Evans skated behind Smith and immediately started swinging stick back and took a slap shot. The shot swiftly headed towards the upper portion of the Oilers' net, and Fuhr again brought up his glove to make the save, but the shot was moving too fast, and Fuhr was too late. The puck went in at the 2 minutes and 35 seconds of overtime, winning the Kings the game 6-5. Now, just as a recap here, ladies and gentlemen, Messier from Anderson, then Gretzky unassisted, Fogelin from Gretzky and Lowe, Siltanen from Gretzky. Gretzky on the power play is a 4 point in the game from Anderson and Gregg. Then Jay Wells from Dionne and Murphy in the third, Dougie Smith from Hardy and Corab, Charlie Simmer from Dean Hopkins, Mark Hardy from Steve Bozek and Larry Murphy, Bozek on the power play from Hardy and Dionne. Of course, Daryl Evans, the superstar, he's fourth in the postseason from Doug Smith. Fuhr made 45 saves and 51 shots, but Lassard only stopped 30. Now, in Game 5, back at home, after winning Game 4, the Oilers again appeared to have the advantage, but at the time Edmonton was done, the Kings led 6-2 after second period and would go on to win by a score of 7-4. Now, a combined total of 50 goals were scored by the two teams in the 5-game series, a new NHL record. The Kings also set a record for most goals by one team in a 5-game series. You wouldn't think, 27. Other NHL records that fell, including most goals by one team in one game, 18 in Game 1, and the biggest series upset in Stanley Cup playoffs, as the Kings had finished 48 points by Edmonton in the regular season. Now, the Kings couldn't do nothing against Vancouver, who would advance to the Stanley Cup finals and were swept by the Oilers in 4 games. Now, get this, ladies and gentlemen. After the loss, the Oilers made the finals in 83, 84, 85, 87, 88, and 90. Again, the team of the 80s. Now, the miracle at Manchester would prove to be the Kings' only bright spot during the early 80s, of course, until, the Triple Crown line. The next 2 seasons continued a losing trend as they missed the playoffs in both seasons. Now, they eventually made the 9-3 playoffs with Gretzky in the lineup and made it to the final but lost to Montreal. Now, on the 40th anniversary of the miracle in Manchester, the Kings introduced their second reverse retro jersey, inspired by the event, with white being the base color for the first time, rather than purple or gold. Now, whatever version you want to watch, the Hockey Night in Canada version, but the U.S. version with the ticking time clock for each period is kind of freaky because I knew they were going to lose that game. And of all people, Gary Younger. If I ever meet him, or because he went to Britain after that and became a superstar over there, but he fucked up. Of all people, Gary Younger. I would see Dave Semenko would do that, or a marginal player like Tikkanen. But Gary Younger taking a 5-minute penalty? I mean, I don't think he raised his stick in anger in the 10 years he was in St. Louis or whatever. Anyway, Gary Younger, I'm looking at you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing with our NHL Vintage podcast as part of our Sports File series, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.